And we are live. You already know who it is. My name is Mike Kyle, aka the Fantasy Vulture. I have over a decade worth of fantasy football experience, and I've continuously competed for fantasy championships over the course of the past 6 seasons. Let's make it 7 in 2020. But enough of me. I'm here for you. On today's episode of the FV Show, we are going to continue our Week 3 game previews, breaking down every single Week 3 matchup, all through the lens of fantasy football. Up next, the San Francisco 49ers versus the New York Giants. So if you are excited for this game preview, be sure to hit that like button down below like an open receiver downfield, and also smash that subscribe button like a power running back up the middle so that you never miss a video from me. Last but not least, you can follow me on all social media platforms at FFVulture. We are going to continue the Week 3 previews, breaking down the early games that don't have a whole lot of narratives or storylines going into them. Again, I'm recording this on a Friday night. I got the bulk of videos to record on Saturday. Those will go up Saturday night and or Sunday morning. But really just Friday night, I just want to knock out the easy ones, the ones where there's not a whole lot of analysis, all things considered. And speaking of a game of that stature and of that merit, we're going to talk about the 49ers versus the Giants. And woo! You want to talk about a lackluster game? This might be it, right? So, a few game notes here, right? These are just two teams that are hammered with injuries. Who's playing for these teams? I say that facetiously, right? But for the 49ers, these are the players who are already ruled out for this game. Jimmy Garoppolo, Tevin Coleman, Raheem Mostert, Deebo Samuel, and George Kittle, as well as half of their defense, essentially, as well. Richard Sherman's still on IR. D Ford was ruled out. They obviously lost Solomon Thomas and Nick Bosa due to ACL injuries. It is a rough sledding for the NFC representatives in last year's Super Bowl, to say the least. And then for the Giants, Saquon Barkley, obviously the brutal knee injury, not only the ACL, but I believe it was also the MCL as well. And I think it was also some cartilage in his knee, if I'm not mistaken. It was just a gruesome injury. And then Sterling Shepard was placed on a 3-week IR with that turf toe injury as well. So, breaking down how I view this game, are you really excited starting anybody, right? Like, what is the level of confidence that you have in anybody on the field right now? The only person for the 49ers who I am willing to play is Jerrick McKinnon, and I still don't feel great about it because if you look at what McKinnon has done so far throughout this season, granted it has only been 2 weeks, everything has been within limited doses, right? They kind of just use him as a spark plug, a change of pace type of guy with Mostert, which ironically enough is actually really funny because they're both just insanely fast individuals. But with McKinnon, they've just been using him as this drive starter almost, right? We saw the 3rd and 31. We saw the first and 10, 20-yard touchdown later on versus the Jets. And I don't know what kind of opportunity he's going to get, but with Coleman out and with Mostert out as well, he's a pretty good start, I feel like, all things considered, right? Who else are they going to give the ball to? There's some murmurs about Jeff Wilson. Fine, Wilson's been productive, and we know that Shanahan likes to rotate backs, but I actually think that McKinnon is going to have a safe volume this week, but I still just don't feel great starting him because of the lack of weapons and the lack of the ability to potentially move the ball this game. If this game finishes with a final score of 13-9, wouldn't shock me at all. I don't even know what the over-under is, but whatever it is, I'm pretty confident I can smash the under and be okay. Again, the 49ers defense is also depleted, so with that being said, I find Darius Slayton, Golden Tate, and Evan Engram to be fine plays. Evan Engram is kind of one of those things where you kind of close your eyes sometimes and hope that good things happen. But definitely as far as Slayton goes and as far as Tate goes, I'm pretty confident starting them in my flex if I'm able to. I know just last week off the top of my head, Slayton did have a down game. Again, that's kind of been the basis of his NFL career. He'll have a game where he's up, a few games where he's down, that'll go back up again. So trying to predict the wheel that is that is Darius Slayton, can be a bit challenging, where I know that Golden Tate is the more consistent option of the two. Now, as far as the Giants running backs goes, look, I understand. There are injuries all across the running back position right now. You look at Phillip Lindsay, Barkley, McCaffrey, the list goes on, right? If you have to play Dion Lewis or Wayne Gallman or Devonta Freeman if you picked him up, I get it. I totally get why you feel like you have to. The only thing I'm going to say is I have zero expectations for them whatsoever. We saw Dion Lewis get the snaps when Barkley went out, but that was because Wayne Gallman was inactive. But last time Barkley was hurt, Wayne Gallman was the guy. This is a new coaching staff, though. They bring in Devonta Freeman. I have no expectations for anybody in the Giants' backfield. I'm staying away from them if I can, but if you have to play one of them, I understand. Again, I've been asked the questions of which one do you pick up. I don't know. This is why I said I would rather get Mike Davis than anybody of the Giants' backfield. Because with the Giants' backfield at this point now, you have a 33% of being right. But if you were to go after a Mike Davis of the Panthers with Christian McCaffrey being out for 6 weeks, then you 100% know what you're getting, right? And that's the difference for me. That's why I had Mike Davis ranked so much higher in my waiver priority than anybody in the Giants' backfield. I do want to talk about Daniel Jones because I'm sure someone out there is thinking, it was myself included as well. I was thinking, well, now that Barkley's out, this team's probably going to trail, and that means good things for Daniel Jones, right? Daniel Jones is going to have the opportunity to air the ball out a little bit more. Obviously, he has the rushing upside as well. He is #sneaky athletic, and he can always fall into the end zone for a rushing touchdown or two. But I went back and I actually looked at the numbers because if you remember, Barkley missed 3 games with that high ankle sprain last season, and in those games, Daniel Jones was not good. I repeat, Daniel Jones was not good. In the 3 games, his fantasy points in those games were 14, 12, and 6. Now, granted, that 6-point game, I believe, came against New England, who obviously had a monster defense last season, but still, those numbers are not pretty for a starting quarterback who probably had the opportunity to put points up on the board without a great rushing attack, and you're just able to kind of air it out for 4 quarters. So initially, I would have thought, hey, Daniel Jones, probably a good start. And there is probably a world where that still is the case because of how depleted this 49ers defense is. But I'm still probably not playing Daniel Jones, all things considered. Just going back to the data and seeing this offense with and without Barkley. Obviously, when you lose a star player, your offense is going to regress a little bit. So that's going to do it for my San Francisco 49ers versus New York Giants game preview, all through the lens of fantasy football. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button down below like an open receiver downfield, and also smash that subscribe button like a power running back up the middle so that you never miss a video from me. And last but not least, you can follow me on all social media platforms at FFVulture. I'm going to get up out of here. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, people come and go, but fantasy championships are forever. I will see you in the next video.